Welcome to episode 4 of Should We Hate This, the podcast where we take mundane things from your day-to-day life and decide whether or not we should hate them. Because thinking for yourself is hard. I'm Scott, and I'm joined by Dan.
Hello.
Today we'll be discussing social media and TV talent shows.
All right, Scott, social media. What's your thoughts on social media?
I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I think this is going to be a lot like our smartphones episode earlier. In my notes here, I've got about the early days of Facebook. I was thinking about Facebook when it first came out, so I don't know what time you started on Facebook, but I remember it was 2007.
Yeah, that would have been about the same time as us.
And it was very different. Like, it was so new, and it seemed fun. No one had kids yet. Like, there was, like, everyone on Facebook was college-aged.
Yeah, sort of like young 20-somethings, maybe some late teens.
So there were no baby photos yet, which was nice.
And it was definitely the early days of, it was fun. It was all about just sharing dumb photos from the weekend. And this was coming off the back of MySpace.
Yeah.
Which MySpace made such an impact when it first came out.
Did it? I had a MySpace and I didn't do anything with it. It literally was a photo of me, and that was it. Like, it was my name, I'm this old, and here's my photo. And then I never touched it again. I didn't know what to do with it.
I probably wasn't very into it from a personal sort of profile, but from a business, kind of like running a music website at the time when I was, it was great for networking.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's where bands went to have their profiles. So it was really coming off the back of that and having to go to a friend's page to type and let them know or send a message to them, where Facebook came along and suddenly you had a feed and everybody's opinion and comments were there.
Yeah. So your experience, it sounds, is different to mine because I never did MySpace. Like I said, as far as I got with MySpace was making a profile, and then I never knew what it did. So when Facebook came along, I had more of an understanding of what it was for. Like,
yes.
You could talk to your friends, basically, and you could upload your dumb photos from the weekend. And being a uni student, at the time, most of my Facebook initially was drunk photos of me on the weekend, basically.
And this was also before, Facebook really buckled down and started putting in their terms and conditions that they pretty much own all the photos, and people started.
It was probably all there. It probably was all there.
It probably was.
Like, we were too young and stupid to understand that.
Yeah, and realizing that there was actually consequences about putting dumb shit online.
It was funny because at the time, I remember I passionately hated the idea of a blog.
Yes.
I really hated blogs because I thought, like, why does every Tom, Dick and Harry need a blog? Why do they think their opinion matters so much that the world has to listen to it?
Absolutely.
Which is hilarious and ironic, considering I'm the one who was like, let's start a podcast so everyone can listen to my opinion. That doesn't matter.
Here we are.
So I've come full circle on that one.
But we're trying to help people.
We're trying to, I think, maybe. So I didn't understand why people needed a blog, but I was on board with Facebook. But I went back a couple of years ago and did a cleanup.
Yes.
Of my old Facebook, and God, I was a pretentious wanker. Facebook statuses. I remember one was something about a gloomy feeling of ennui. I think I just learnt the word ennui at university.
Oh,
I'm going to use it. I'm going to look smart. Look how smart I am.
Jesus Christ.
Actually, before Facebook, I don't know if this counts as social media. Like MSN Messenger. Is that social media?
It's social. It's probably... I mean, that was chat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was like a chat room.
The pre-social media.
Then you had ICQ and all
I
those
never had ICQ. I wasn't cool
yeah.
enough. Or geeky enough. I don't know which one it is.
It's probably geeky enough, I'd say. Yeah, well, that was kind of like a very light version of it, wasn't it? And then it started to get to the point where you weren't just an email address. You started getting photos up there, and you started getting more of a presence, and your opinion could be kind of spread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have, I remember... There weren't posts, like permanent posts like Facebook, but I do remember on Messenger you could have your profile and then your name and then a saying or something.
Yes, that's right.
And that was permanent, that was pinned to the top underneath your name. And mine was always music lyrics, because I thought it was deep and meaningful.
Yeah, but what 20-year-old or sort of late teen?
16-year-old
yeah,
at this stage,
sort of teen didn't have lyrics that really told the world who they were and how they were feeling at the time.
And what was that thing you'd always, if you found someone new, if you went into like a proper group, a proper chat room, not it was what, ASL? Remember that?
ASL,
Age,
that's
sex,
right,
location?
age, sex, location.
Okay.
And you'd actually have to well, let's meet up on Sunday night at 6 p.m. I'll see you online on Sunday at 6.
I remember
So you'd get on and you'd be waiting, and then they'd pop up and you're like, yeah, they're online.
being really excited because I spent a while talking to someone from America when I was about 16 or 17, and it was just fascinating because they were like, do you do this in New Zealand? And I was like, yes, we do that. Do you do this in America? And then she was fascinated by the idea that I was a day ahead. Like,
oh,
was,
right,
oh my God, I'm talking to the future. But my dad hated the idea of chat rooms. I remember being told off for going into a chat room when friends of the family were around, because my dad was just convinced that every person in a chat file was a pedophile.
He probably wasn't wrong.
In a chat room is a pedophile. Yeah, well, looking back, I mean, who knows how many pedophiles I might have talked to without knowing. But I was like, yeah, in my house, we were not allowed to go on chat rooms because pedophiles.
Yeah.
But anyway, so chat rooms and then MSN Messenger. So that's like the pre-social media era. But yeah, Facebook I got into in a big way. I think I was a relatively early adopter, at least in New Zealand. Like,
absolutely, yeah.
At that point, it had obviously been around in America for a while.
Because originally you had to get an invite from people who were on campus or something like that in the States, yeah.
That I met at university who had it.
Yep.
And she sent me the invite. She was like, oh, well, I saw her using it. I was like, what's that? She's like, oh, it's called Facebook.
That cool thing?
Yeah. So she sent me an invite, and then I got on it, and I was like, what do you do? But once like more and more of my friends were on it, it made more sense. But the other funny thing is, like, you didn't think of the consequences back then. You didn't think like, these dumb photos of me that I'm putting up and these ridiculously pretentious posts that I'm putting up, they're going to be there forever.
Yes.
And one day I might be going for a job and someone might see it, which is why I ended up having a big cull a couple of years back. Poke. Do you remember Poke?
Yes, and you could poke someone.
And then they'd poke you back.
Yeah.
What was the point of that?
I don't know. Some sort of flirtation, I guess.
Yeah, maybe it was. And looking up old high school friends, I went through like everyone I could think of. I was like, oh, this guy. Yeah. Oh my God, he's on Facebook. Add. Oh, she's on Facebook. Add. And then you'd maybe chat for half an hour. Oh, what are you doing now? Oh, I'm doing this. What are you doing? I'm doing this. And then that was it. You realized why.
Why you never actually caught up after high school.
Why you weren't friends with them, and eventually.
I actually remember that. Like after, for the first year, like you'd turn the computer on and you'd get like 5,000 like friend requests from like everyone you used to go to high school with. So there was this really like bulk friend request for like over the course of like 6 months or a year. And then once everyone had kind of friended everybody else and slowly realised that these aren't the people they want to associate with, started removing people and blocking people and having yearly cleanups.
To catch up, and you'd never catch up.
Yeah. Going back, you actually said when you first got on Facebook, your question was, what do you do?
Yeah.
I think that was a big question for me with Twitter.
When
Twitter came along.
Yeah.
I was like, so what? You have like 2 lines, 138 characters?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
It was
140?
Now it's 280. Yeah.
And it just seems so ridiculous. It's like, oh, what? You're just going to tell people you're having an ice cream?
Yeah.
Or you're walking down the street? That was pretty much the surface. What Twitter was all about
quite
to begin
angry
with.
at the idea of Twitter, yeah. I was like, why? Like, I had the same reaction to Twitter as I did to blogging. Like, why do you need to have blurt out in 140 characters what you're doing at that exact moment?
Yeah. And I don't think you could even have photos or anything when it first kicked off.
No, it was literally just text, yeah.
But, boy, we were wrong.
Yeah. I still didn't have a Twitter up until the Twitter that we have for this podcast, at SWHT Podcast, if you want to follow us.
Yes.
Tweet relatively infrequently. But yeah, I didn't have my own Twitter because I didn't really know what to do. And Twitter's such a weird beast. Like, you have to be, like, what I've learned now from trying to run our Twitter account is that you have to be constantly on Twitter.
Yeah.
To be relevant, because if something comes up, you have to comment on it straight away and have your hot take straight away, or you're just lost in a sea of voices. And if you're a day late, no one gives a shit because they're all talking about the next thing.
Yeah.
Twitter's good for news, more so than Facebook, I think. I
definitely go to the Twitter app if I'm looking for up-to-date news. I think because you're getting more of an opinion of people on the ground or something that's happening, depending if it's like a live feed or something like that. Going back to our last episode where we were talking about the news and where these agencies have to create like clickbait titles so that you can click through to them, I don't think Twitter really has that effect. I think there's
less room for the clickbait title.
Yeah.
It's more about this is what's happened.
This is what's happened.
This is what I've seen.
Yeah, here's
I can get
live footage of exactly what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So I always found the news feed on Twitter quite interesting. But in regards to having my own personal account, I've tried. I can never think of anything worthy.
With our Twitter account, I've started following like just people. Like, and whenever I see something cool, I'm like, oh, I'll follow that person. Oh, I'll follow that person. In the hopes of like, if we follow them, they'll follow us, and we'll build up a following. You know how social media works. And yeah, I look at this pithy, like funny, like off the cuff comments that these people say, and I'm like, how much time are they dedicating?
Yeah.
Or are they just a genuinely witty person and it pops in their head and I'm like, oh, I should tweet that. That's a good one.
Absolutely.
I don't know whether they're planning these things out in advance or how it works, but I'm not clever enough to be a funny Twitterlebrity. Twitterlebrity. I'm not a Twitterlebrity. I'm not smart enough to be a Twitterlebrity.
And you're not Insta famous either.
I'm not Insta famous because I hate Instagram. As much as I like using it as a promotional tool for this podcast, I hate the idea of Instagram influencers.
What? Oh, okay. Instagram influencers, yes, but Instagram as like a platform?
I don't know. Maybe I have to walk back my hatred a little bit because I do use it a bit, but I guess it depends what you're using it for. Like, I hate the lunch photos. I know that's a bit passé and like it's from like 3 years ago, but people still do it. People still photograph their food, and I don't give a shit about what you had for lunch. I also don't give a shit about your kids, unless like if I give a shit enough about you to give a shit about your kids, then like I'm seeing your kids in real life.
Yeah, I would message you and ask how your kids are.
Yeah, like I don't. Your dog, I don't give a shit about your dog. Someone that I used to work with has.
It's so cold.
has an Instagram that is entirely just photos of their dog, and I don't care about their dog. I care about my dog.
Hopefully no one from work is listening to this who has
my old work.
Oh, your old work. Okay.
I burnt those bridges.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, see, I was really on board with Instagram when it first came out, but I was using it for photos that I'd taken. Like, it was like photography photos. It wasn't just like photos of me in a mirror.
Aren't all photos photography photos?
Yeah, that's... Yeah, okay. Good call. But these are different photography photos. No, they were, like landscapes, shit like that, holiday snaps. But it didn't have me in the photo, and it wasn't food, and it wasn't animals. So that's okay, right?
Yeah, like I like it as a medium for, like I follow some actual photographers who are very talented. And like as a medium for them to get their work out there. Like, remember Flickr?
Yeah.
Flickr doesn't really work in the same way. Like, you'd have to go and like you'd have to know the name of the photographer. You'd have to look them up and then like go through their album individually. Whereas because Instagram is like a news feed, if you're following photographers that you like, then it's automatically coming through. So that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, and you can get rid of the influencers from your feed.
Yeah, and I guess I say I hate influencers, but I don't have to follow them.
Yeah.
But I hate the idea of being a social media influencer, that's something you can say that you do.
That's actually a paying job for some people.
Yeah, fuck those people. No, maybe not. All power to you. I just don't like seeing your stuff. So,
but please do share our stuff if you are listening. And we'll share back.
I don't really know why I hate them. Maybe it's because I look back at, like, I mentioned my pretentious Facebook updates from when I was younger, and I'm like tainted by my own shame. So when I see an influencer, I'm like, ugh. I used to try and be like you, maybe. I don't know. This is going nowhere.
That's fine. Well, and going back to like influencers, these are these people that have built up hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of followers, and there was always that sort of pressure, I guess, when you first sign up to a social media account. Maybe not something like Facebook because that's more personal, but something like Twitter and Instagram. You want to kind of get a following to almost make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
you know? And that was kind of like, as soon as you landed on Instagram, you would start following these people and they'd follow you back. And you realize after a while that these people don't give a shit about you because you don't give a shit about
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I think I remember reading something a while ago. I'm not going to remember the statistics, so I'm just going to make it up. I'm going to say it was 75%, but I don't actually know. But there was someone commissioned some sort of study, and it was something like 70% of Twitter users don't read other people's tweets. They literally just like tweet out there and hope that people are reading their tweets, but they're not actually
absolutely
interacting with their followers. They're just like,
Totally
please
believe
follow
that.
me. And I think, Instagram's very similar.
And especially like posting on other people's things like, oh, great photo.
Oh my God, tagging photos. Speaking of things that make me angry, I'm glad most people don't do it anymore. But do you remember when Facebook first came out and you would religiously, like, you would be like, this is our awesome party we had last night. I'm uploading all of the photos and I'm tagging every single person who was there in those photos.
Yes.
I'm so glad that people don't really tag each other in photos anymore, because the time that I was like, I'm culling all this stuff off my Facebook involved me having to untag myself in a lot of really embarrassing photos. Because you can't well, you could, but you'd come off as a bit of a dick if you started emailing people like, can you take that photo of me down?
Yeah,
Can you take
absolutely.
that photo of me down?
Well, Facebook does have the option now that you can automatically, you have to veto any sort of.
Yeah, because they do auto tagging now, don't they?
Yeah, or auto tagging, which is kind of scary. But also, if someone tags you in a post, you'll get a message and saying, you know, Dan's tagged you in a post.
You can hide it from your timeline.
And you can hide it, or you can accept it. And depending how good you look in it.
Yeah, so I'm glad tagging in photos is not a thing. Tagging in memes, though, I don't know.
Tagging in memes.
I tag a lot of my friends in memes, but when I see someone that I don't know, well, not even someone that I don't know, when I see people that I'm tangentially related to on Facebook and they're tagging other people in memes and it's coming up on my newsfeed, I get angry. I'm like, I don't want to see this. Especially if it's a stupid meme. But if it's something that I've tagged my friends in that I want them to see, because of course whatever I'm tagging people in is like dank.
Gold, absolutely.
No, it's dank.
Oh, dank, sorry.
Come on,
of course
keep up with the teens. If I'm tagging you in dank memes, then other people get to see them and like should reflect in the glory of the dank meme.
To be honest, I think I'm so frustrated with a lot of social media stuff these days that I really only things that I like are just like musicians, and dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like nothing really that serious. And I don't even get a lot of news through my feed these days.
Because it's all fake news anyway. You can't trust Facebook for news,
absolutely.
as we found out last year.
And also I think the algorithm for Facebook is constantly changing. And I don't know if they really serve as much news as they used to.
No, they've changed.
At this point in time, at least.
Well, they announced earlier this year that they're changing the algorithm to go back to the early days of Facebook, where it was about showing you what your friends are posting.
Right.
Before, because it was called the news feed, but it was only news from your friends. And then they were like, we're going to be a serious source of journalism now. And they reconfigured the news feed so that it would show you news. And they actually employed editors to edit that content and make sure that it was of credible, from credible sources.
Yep.
Then they realized that if they did that, they came under fire for having a left-wing bias. And they were like, well, if we have a left-wing bias, we're going to lose followers. We're potentially going to lose like people to advertise to. Mm-hmm. So they cut all their real editors who actually edited the news and put it forward. And it was just completely unfiltered, completely algorithm-based. And that's how it turned into the mess of fake news that it was. So that's why they've decided to go back.
Right.
To the early days where it should mostly be either family and friends or pages you've specifically followed.
Yeah, so it's not news.
So they're trying to distance themselves.
Find your news elsewhere, pretty much.
Yeah, they're trying to distance themselves.
Which isn't a bad thing.
No.
I think that's kind of good.
Yeah, especially after what we discussed last week about how the state of the news is already bad enough with the 24-hour news cycle that we don't need Facebook getting in there and shitting it up even more.
Yeah. I mean, and we've only touched on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, MySpace quickly. But stuff like Snapchat, all these other new ones that are constantly coming out. And
I actually like Snapchat.
I've never really got on board with Snapchat before.
I don't use it very often, but I like it for, like, obviously I've mentioned in the past on the podcast that I'm from New Zealand. My brothers still live in New Zealand. So Snapchat's really good for, like, we just send each other stupid photos.
Yeah.
And it's a lighthearted, easy way of keeping in touch that's not as difficult as setting up a phone call or making time to FaceTime or whatever. So I like Snapchat for that. And the filters are kind of fun.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat with Snapchat as I am with Twitter. Like, wouldn't really quite know what to send people.
Yeah.
Unless I'm hammered, in which case that wouldn't be a problem at all.
And I bet amongst the under 20s, Snapchat has apparently overtaken Facebook.
Yeah.
Because it's more immediate. It's just you and your friends, and it's just photos.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
That's excellent. All right. So in closing, should we hate social media, Scott?
I don't even think we've done a good enough job of talking about it to come to a conclusion.
We've talked about social media.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably
but
not.
We've kind of spoken about it positively, I think.
Yeah,
we haven't
mostly.
really sat here and really ragged on it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still going to claim that I hate social media influencers.
Yeah, that's fine. Maybe that's an entire subject that we could cover. Maybe social media influencers and video bloggers, famous vloggers. Vloggers? Anyhow.
Yeah, anyway.
So in conclusion...
I think no.
No, we don't hate social media. Just...
certain things about it, I guess. This has been a week first topic for this episode.
It has been a week, but you know...
Alright, no, we don't hate social media. Let's leave it at that and move on.
Fantastic. Okay, and now for part 2. So, Scott, what's your thoughts on TV talent shows?
TV talent shows. Alright. I'm going to limit my answer to the singing ones, because I haven't really watched any of those variety ones, but I hate them. I just really, really cannot stand them.
Yeah.
Wish they were not a thing.
And why is that? Why do you hate them so much?
Just, it's shit TV. Like, I hate reality TV in the first place, and we could do a whole episode on reality TV in the future, and I think we should. But specifically, these shows are just so over-rehearsed. Like, considering it's supposed to be real, like it's so obviously scripted and not real. The talent is usually shit. They're cruel. I hate how cruel they are to the early episodes that everyone loves, where you've got some shithead who can't sing, who no one in that poor person's life has ever had the guts to say, you can't sing, you shouldn't be a singer, please don't try and be a singer, and definitely don't go on national or international television and try and sing because you are shit and people will laugh at you.
Yeah.
Someone has to stop people and say that to them before they embarrass themselves.
It's so true. Holy shit. And they have those specials. And it'll be like the worst of this year's season. And it's just like an entire half an hour of these poor people having their hearts broken.
Yeah, it's just...
live on television.
It's unnecessarily cruel, and I don't like it. And then you get the ones that go on to be like pseudo-celebrities. Like, there was that woman, I think her name was Wing.
Yes.
The Chinese... I'm going to sound racist because...
No, she was Chinese. She was
Chinese? Okay.
Yeah.
And... like they do tours and things like that, and you have to wonder, like, are they in on the joke? Do they know that people are like cruelly going to see them, like, ironically, to be like, haha, this person is bad at singing and they think they're good at singing? Like, are they? If they're in on the joke, then it's okay.
Yes.
But I get the feeling that maybe
a lot of these people aren't. No.
And that's so mean.
Yep. It's horrible. I do not really enjoy these talent shows either. Whether it be a singing one or other. It's that fake suspense. It's, like you said, there's that kind of building these people's hopes up that they're going to be something, when in natural fact, they've probably already chosen the person that they're going to be using throughout, like, the entire series, and who they plan to actually win, because it's all marketing and it's all one particular record company who are in on that season and will know exactly from the word go exactly who's marketable.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how many phone calls they might get or how many SMSs they get for the vote. They know who's going to win.
Yeah, I hadn't actually thought of that. One of the things that I had noted down was that it almost always ends up being the final almost always ends up being two non-threatening boys, like usually like one with blonde hair and one with black hair, because that's who all the 12-year-old girls have voted for.
Yes.
And that might sound sexist, but I'm pretty sure that's the target demographic for this show these shows is tween girls.
Absolutely.
And they're the ones who make the effort to text in and vote. And so you always end up with like two cute boys because they were like easy to market to the tween girl demographic.
And you have these success stories like One Direction, for example.
Yeah. Were they one of those?
Absolutely,
Oh, I did
yeah.
not know
They were
that.
from the UK. They were the winners of, I think, The Voice or
See,
the
okay,
UK's Got Talent.
I knew of One Direction. I knew they were a band. I didn't realize they were a product of one of these TV shows.
So they were born out of winning one of those, and they all came in separately. I think they all came in as separate contestants.
Really?
And then over time, they were like, all right, we're going to group these dudes together, and
Send
here
them
we
in
are
one
today.
Direction.
Yeah.
It's all falling into place.
So
All
they
right.
see these success stories and they think, well, shit, we could do that.
Well,
and
because
then
the
they
only
do.
success story that I could think of when we decided to do this topic was Kelly Clarkson.
Yes.
She's still, I'm pretty sure, going. Like I saw her on Seth Meyers
Kelly Clarkson,
recently
yeah,
doing
yeah,
an
she's
interview. I
still
think
she's still
making
performing,
music and
absolutely.
doing well. But yeah, the majority of the contestants don't. Like I remember when New Zealand Idol started, and the kid who won New Zealand Idol, I remember they did a follow-up interview with him, and he was like, "Yeah, I made about $30,000 out of that, and I bought myself a car, and now I'm back at working at the supermarket or wherever it was that what he was doing beforehand." He was, well, I was gonna say he was bitter. He wasn't really bitter. He was kind of philosophical about it. But it sucks that they build these up to be like, we're gonna change your life, like you'll never have to work a regular job again, and then it's like a flash in a pan. And they're
Also,
on to
we're
the
going
next
to
one.
write all the songs. We're going to take all the cut of all, pretty much most of the money.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just a money making scheme, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. You see, the first Australian series, so
Is that Guy Sebastian?
Guy Sebastian won that season, and ever since he has had a very successful career. So he was the first one off the bat. Has had a successful career. Is always in the spotlight with these sort of shows, and a lot of people look and go, "That's what we can get. That's exactly what I want to win, and that's what I want to be able to do." But then, if you can tell me any other winners from any other season of the Australian version,
No.
Exactly.
I cannot.
they get these these success stories and build them up, and people try and aim for that. And they might come out and they'll bring out their Christmas album, and they'll bring out the album at the end of the season when they win.
What about Shannon Knoll?
He was second place to
So
Guy
same
Sebastian.
season. There you go.
Same season.
Right. And now he's like more famous for being a meme than anything else.
Exactly. But he's on board with it.
Yeah, and that's okay.
He is on board with it. People go to a Knowlesy show and just get into it, and he fucking loves it.
Yeah, no, that's all right. It seems nowadays like the most you can hope for from being a winner of one of these shows is maybe 10 years down the track you'll get to be a judge on the same show.
And they always try to...
This is like, it's like where celebrities go to die, right? It's like one step above Celebrity Treasure Island or whatever that other show is.
Yeah, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here.
Like,
And it's the D-grade celebrities.
You know your career's not going well when you get that phone call from your agent being like, "You want to be on The Voice?"
Yeah. Or Dancing with the Stars.
Is that reality TV or a TV? Is that a TV talent show in the same sense as these, or not?
Yeah, I believe so. I think
Yeah?
it's still got the whole voting thing.
It's
and
within the scope of this conversation.
yeah. It's cheap TV. They don't really need to do anything to create it.
Yeah, I've never watched that show, but you always. It seems like a dumb idea to ever go on that show. Maybe if you're like the sort of, I don't know, maybe if you're like a comedian and you don't take your public persona seriously, then that's probably fine. Actors and actresses, singers, probably not such a big deal. Politicians. Why in God's name do politicians think it's a good idea to go on Dancing with the Stars?
Because they want us to be seen as just like a normal guy,
Yeah, they want to be relatable.
relatable.
You just come off looking like a dickhead,
Yes.
and you give the media so much firepower for the next time you do something dumb And they can be like, hey, remember when Barnaby Joyce, I don't know if he actually was, but I hate him, so I'm going to use him as an example. But remember when Barnaby Joyce was on Dancing with the Stars? Let's all laugh at him because now he's a joke and we hate him.
Doing a boot scooting routine, probably.
Yeah, but the other talent, they're like Britain's Got Talent or America's Got Talent. I've never really watched those, but I don't understand the point of those as much. Like, even though I don't like the singing ones, I get the idea. Like talent shows, singing talent shows were a thing anyway before these TV shows.
Oh, absolutely.
And there are
they
stories
have been for a long time. Yeah.
Like Lorde. That's how Lorde got discovered, apparently.
I did
she
not know
was
that.
doing a talent show at an Auckland mall, and someone from EMI spotted her there and was like, this girl's good. And they actually signed her on and got her a producer. And then she spent 4 years after that working on Pure Heroine, the first album.
Damn.
So like actual talent shows were a thing before these TV shows, and people did get discovered finding them in those from, what do you call them? Talent scouts.
Yes. Yep.
So I get the idea of the music ones. I don't get the idea of the regular talent ones. Like, how are you going to make a career out of being able to stack 57 chairs on top of each other? Like, people will clap at you on the TV.
Might get a few corporate gigs after,
I guess,
within the first 6 months or something, but that's probably it.
I don't see the longevity of that. Like, I know we just said that most of the singers don't go on to have a career in singing, but at least that's an option.
Yeah.
Like, where's your option of, you can balance a pack of playing cards on your tongue or something. Whoop-de-doo. Like, how are you going to make a career out of that?
See, for maybe something like magicians or
yeah, I guess any theatrical talent where you would be putting on shows. I guess that's true, because then,
and maybe you're using it as like a springboard for your own career. You're not going on there thinking, I'm going to win and I'm going to get a residency at the fucking
somewhere in Vegas,
Caesar's Palace. Yeah. No, they might just doing it just to get their name out there.
That's true. And then you can always put on your poster.
Yeah.
As seen on America's Got Talent.
Absolutely.
So, I get that. That's like a marketing tool. Cool. I understand that. Still hate them, though.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess it's... I don't know, and they're always trying to add these little gimmicks to them as well. They've got,
like how the voice...
The blind... It's a voice,
that's the
isn't
blind
it?
one where they turn around.
Yeah.
In the big red chairs. Yeah.
They turn around and they realise, they go, oh, shit, this dude's not marketable.
And the judges
the
always
voice of an angel.
Yeah. Yeah, he sounds amazing. Oh, dear.
What have we done?
For? He looks like Quasimodo. How the shit are we going to market him?
It's all right, we'll kick him off after the first week.
Yeah. The judges always have to have a dumb gimmick. I don't know where this started. Like, obviously, Stephen Cowell is just, his gimmick has been a cunt to everyone. And that works for him. But then, like, who's the Australian guy who swings his arm around? He does like a big... I'm like demonstrating this and you can't see it.
Is it Kyle Sandilands? No.
He would like a big wheel with his arm and then pointing to say you've got it, and everyone would like, all the idiots in the audience, oh my god, he did the thing.
Is that his like super like?
Yeah, maybe. Is that
like his Tinder super like is just him getting up and just being like, a fucking yeah. And everyone gets one a series or something.
They're like, oh, he's gonna do the thing. He's gonna do the thing. Oh, he did the thing! Yay!
Can't believe I was there when he did the thing.
Who are the people that like go and be in the audience in these shows? Where do they find them?
And make placards.
Yeah, I bet you they don't make the placards. I remember reading about professional wrestling. Yeah. And those placards, they're like, who's a professional wrestler? The Hulk. That's Hulk Hogan. That's how long it's been since
The Rock?
About wrestling. The Rock. Yeah, so someone's in the crowd is holding a like, can you smell what The Rock is cooking sign. They get handed those as they walk in.
No doubt.
Yeah, they make the marketing people make them, and as people are walking in, you put your ticket over, and if you're lucky, you get one of the signs to hold. But people aren't making those at home, so I bet you it's the same with these TV shows.
Wow. Because I always thought that for something like Big Brother, I think maybe I watched the first one or two series of Big Brother because it was fascinating at the time, because that was one of the first reality shows. I remember when that came out, and that was kind of the end of good TV.
Yeah.
Because I realised, because then I think these TV stations kind of went, wait a minute, we don't have to put any thought into this.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost us a lot of money.
It doesn't cost us anything.
We don't have to pay
We don't have to produce anything.
We don't have to pay the people because we say that, you're competing for a prize. but then like I remember being interested in Big Brother when it first started, and then you realize that people are boring.
Yeah.
Like none of us do anything particularly interesting in our day.
No.
Maybe you get to do something cool and interesting like a dozen times a year, but your everyday life for most people is just routine. And then after a few episodes of watching Big Brother, you realize that that's just what you're watching. People make their breakfast and make a coffee and sit on the couch.
They sit on the couch and have a chat to each other.
Yeah.
And I think they realized that again after the first few series, because then that's when they started bringing in like a mystery house guest, or they started to bring someone in to shake it up,
shake up the plot, or give it some sort of.
I just remember the Australian version had the Friday night games, and they would have like a Friday night. On Friday nights in the house, they would have like a games night, and they'd get like blow up castles and shit like that. And people would have to run through and all this sort of stuff for entertainment, probably because the people were going insane inside.
Yeah, we've moved on to like proper reality TV though, which we were going to try and keep as
all right, well, let's
topic.
Backpedal. So back to voice talents and The Voice and their gimmick of the blind auditions and turning around.
Yeah. I remember when that came out, and I did actually kind of like it, because I remember thinking that, at that point I was already like, obviously with American Idol or Country Idol, whatever country it is, that it was obviously not about the music, it was about who they could market. And at first I was like, oh, this is a good gimmick, which is obviously what they were going for. They're not seeing the singers, but of course that's only right at the start, and then after that it's just the same as a regular talent show. So all that marketing stuff that we didn't like about the Idol series is still right there. It's just a gimmick right at the start to, hey, this is how we're different.
And I've heard as well that when they do start these series and they find the maybe 10 or 15 people that they're going to be using for that particular series, they'll send an entire film crew out to hang out with them for a few
get that
days,
sob story,
meet their friends, get their backstory. Even if they don't use any of it, they've sent an entire crew out there to do this filming, make a almost mini documentary of this person that they can kind of slice up and put in throughout the series as they like. And like you said, and get that sob story.
Yeah, but surely they're not going to invest that much money and time into someone until they've decided.
Apparently so.
So obviously that's.
Oh, so you're thinking that the decision's kind of already been made.
Well, we don't see how the show is made, do we? We only see 6 months later when it's been put on TV, or 9 months later, or whatever. And so, for all we know, what they've done is once they've figured out who the winner is, then they're sending the film crew out to do the backstory and come up with some sort of sob story, because there's no way they're investing that much money and time into all
apparently they do. Like if there's 10 or 15 people, they will go out and they'll do that. I was surprised as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe if anyone can fact check that for us. Because and they'll have it there and then they might not use it.
Right. Well,
but they'll obviously either send people across the country to film it, or they'll get a local film crew to just go out there and get what they need.
Yeah.
And you're thinking these are like network stations who
I guess they've got money to burn.
They've got money to burn.
Yeah.
They're not producing anything else.
Yes.
But can you imagine being that contestant, just thinking, Jesus, they're coming to film me, and they're coming out and meeting the family.
Prep all your friends. No one's allowed to tell them the story about the time I got drunk.
Tell them about the strippers. Yeah, that wouldn't go down.
I guess you could say this about reality TV in general. And if we end up doing a reality TV episode, I'll probably save most of this for that. But one of the things that annoys me about it is that it's just lowest common denominator entertainment.
Yeah.
There's no.
It's easy to watch.
Yeah, but there's no and I'm glad. I guess we've been kind of saved from the doldrums of reality TV by the explosion of original content on Netflix and Amazon and all those stations. And HBO. Like the fact that we are getting, after 10 years of having nothing but celebrity bullshit shows, we got Game of Thrones all of a sudden, and
reruns of 2.5 Men, and all this other stuff. And the people that sit around and go, "Oh, there's nothing on TV," obviously aren't looking hard enough.
Yeah, It's all out there. You've just got to.
You don't have an excuse
find it.
anymore to
Yeah.
say there's nothing on TV on a Friday night because you've got 1,000 other options.
Like I'm always flabbergasted at people who you talk to at work or wherever, and they're saying that they still watch the regular television channels and they're still watching Big Bang Theory, or they're still watching The Voice or MasterChef or any of that shit, when there's so much really good high quality television out there. Like if you're going to waste precious hours of your life that you're not going to get back watching television, make it something good.
Make it something that you can walk
really
away
good.
with and think, fuck, that was a good episode.
Yeah.
And you can go chat to people about it.
Yeah, I think like that's the perfect springboard for it. Maybe we should do reality TV in episode 5, because that's almost like the perfect springboard from these musical talent shows to just reality TV in general.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, I think I can say for both of us that we really do not enjoy.
No, sorry, we're concluding. But
sorry.
I just looked at my notes and realized one of the other main things that I hate about these shows is that if you had the God-given talent to be a successful musician, it would happen for you without having to go on one of these stupid shows.
Yes.
Like there are countless people out there making excellent music, and they don't need to go on these stupid shows. I mean, we live in Perth, WA, and the Perth music scene is just amazing.
Yeah.
Like garage rock, home-produced hip-hop, electronica, it's all there. All the tools are there to do it yourself. And then these hacks that go on these TV shows because mum told them that they're a good singer. Like, fuck that. We don't need another Guy Sebastian.
We have a national radio station that has unearthed, giving young artists the opportunity to be listened nationally.
Yeah, support good original music that's being made in your local area. Don't go out and buy the next One Direction album because the television told you to. And I knew there was something that I was properly angry about with this one. And it's that good music is out there and it's being made by people who like can't afford to buy their next meal because they're like throwing their whole life into their music.
And they don't need to have this angelic voice. It can be gravelly. It can be anything. It can be non-commercial. It can just sound good and make you feel good. And that's really what it's all down to.
It's like these TV shows are like part of the like homogenization machine of media. Like watch all the same TV shows, listen to the same music, listen to what our advertisers have like tested to make them the most money. Yeah, I wish I had remembered about this stuff right at the start, and there would have been a much punchier beginning to this topic.
Maybe you can edit this back to the start.
No, it's too much hard work.
All right.
So we totally hate these shows.
Yeah, we hate it. Yeah, we don't really even need to discuss this.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Listen to your local radio station. Find some good music. Turn the TV off.
Support good music.
All right, Dan, time for the quickfire round.
Oh, yeah.
What do you hate right now?
Parents who give their kids devices that play at full volume in public.
Oh, like without headphones?
Yeah, just because you've made a bad decision doesn't mean I have to hear Dora on my bus ride home from work.
Yep. That seems like bad parenting.
Yeah.
And what do you love?
I love a good quiche. I had a quiche earlier. Man, it was great.
Quiche is the best.
All right, Scott, what do you hate?
Anti-vaxxers. I've mentioned before that I'm going to have a daughter soon, and the idea that my daughter might catch a preventable disease because there are people out there who are too fucking stupid to understand the benefits of vaccines makes me furious.
Fair call. Yep. And what do you love?
Well, considering we were just talking about listening to local music, I thought I'd plug a local band. They're called The Last Quokka. They're a local Perth punk band. They had an EP out last year. I think it came out last year, and they've just released their first full album, and they are fucking ace. Go look them up. They're on Soundcloud.
Fantastic.
All right, thanks for listening to episode 4 of Should We Hate This? In summary, social media.
We don't hate social media, surprisingly.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I thought I was going to hate it. And TV talent shows, specifically the singing variety.
We absolutely hate that shit.
Yeah, I loathe them with every fibre of my being. Let us know how you feel about today's topics, or suggest your own by getting in touch with us on our socials. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Should We Hate This? We're on Twitter as well, at SWHT Podcast. Look out for our next episode wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Nice.
Support in the back.